So, ano ang digest?
Hi, Johnny. Digest is quite simply a one-stop shop for Philippine legal services.
Okay.
For most people, lalapit sila sa isang abogado tapos hihingi ng tulong. Pero yung pinaka-common way of finding a lawyer is to look for word-of-mouth referrals. Like, tatanungin mo kaibigan mo, may kailangan ka bang lawyer or family friend? Diba?
Okay.
Yun yung traditional. But we wanted to make a one-stop shop for legal services para ma-compare nyo yung iba't ibang lawyers. Hindi lang yung kakilala mong isa, pero you can pull from 10, 50, 100 lawyers and choose which is the best lawyer for you.
Okay.
So, Simply Digest is a website where you can find legal services.
So, like, you browse for available lawyers, and then is it like, for example, I have a certain case or issue or question, and then naka-display yung mga specialization or I'm not sure sa law, like yung kind of cases he or she deals with. Ganun ba? Like, minamatch yung issue ko sa capability or sa ability ng lawyer?
Actually, magandang tanong yun. To be honest, we thought about that, but we realized though that even though we put all the lawyers in the platform, they all have profiles, for example. So it's kind of looks like LinkedIn or Upwork or Fiverr, where you can see their specialization that you said. I'm a corporate lawyer, criminal law, family law. But we noticed that it's hard for regular people to tell who are the good lawyers, right? You can't tell if the legal work is good. Like, maganda yung kontrata. So, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
So, while we make that information available, so we let them post it, and you can view it before hiring this lawyer, we focus more on the concern itself. So, for example, we make it very clear the price. We tell you, if for 1,995, you can already get a legal consultation. So, 2,000 lang, may makakausap ka ng abogado. Walang time limit. Pwede virtual, kahit anong tanong. But we focus on the concern and then let the lawyers, from our vetted lawyers, who are the ones willing to take on that case. That's one, if you accept our quote. So it's kind of like Grab, right? If you see you'll see a quotation naman, 300 pesos to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So here, we'll give you a quotation. Kung hindi ka naman choosy sa driver or lawyer na ibibigay sa'yo, makuha mo naman agad. But we also give them the other option. Pwede din, ipopost mo yung concern mo. Na ito yung kwento ko, may utang yung kapitbahay ko sa akin, ayaw talaga magbayad, nawala. Ikwento mo lahat. Ito yung resibo ko or yung check-in na binigay sa akin. Tapos yung mga lawyers, pwede sila mag-submit ng proposal. So, parang medyo bidding system.
I see. Interesting.
Diba? So, we let them, then ikaw na mamili. Sino yung abogado? Itong abogado, kung gagawin ko to, 8K. Right? Yeah. Dito naman, taga-Pasig lang ako. So, magkalapit lang tayo. So, we offer those two types. If you want either agree to a certain rate or if you want to get different rates and then choose among. So, of course, if you agree to a certain rate, pang mabilis lang eh. Right? But the second one, may negotiating part na mangyayari.
Yeah. Ang naisip ko nga actually no nakita ko yung website, it looks like Tinder or something. May ganun bang matching if ever na?
It's the first time I've ever heard that.
Really?
Unfortunately, we don't go for that type level of matching. Walang swipe left. Or swipe right. Right now, there's some level of human. Like, I'll try to match you, like, personally with lawyers that I know mahilig sa, kung may kaso kayo sa korte, ibibigay ko kayo sa isang abogado na yun talaga yung practice niya na mag-litigate. So, we try to match you naman, but not with any algorithm, just with human eyes right now.
Okay. So, first of all, can we for the sake of clarification lang and definition, like, ano ba ang law, first of all? And why do we need to make law accessible to the Filipino people?
Okay, that's a great question. What is law? Ang deep niyan. There's so much philosophy, right? In one way, you can say law is what governs our society. Okay. If you think about it as rules, right, this is what gives order to society. And it governs everything. You don't realize it, but everything you do is governed by law. When you buy and sell property, when you invest in something, when you start a business, when you die, when you get married, everything in your life, it's all governed by law. And the problem is, and why it needs to be accessible to Filipinos, is because we kind of leave law to lawyers. When they make it, it's not made in a way for regular people to understand.
Okay.
That's actually why part of Digest, we actually make all the laws also available to all. And that's why we came up with a lot of legal articles trying to explain it to regular people. And also, we also made like social media posts for it.
Okay.
So it has to be accessible because it affects 100 million people, but only the very few people can actually afford legal help. So that's why I really think na if something governs you, you should be able to understand it.
Actually, I think malaking problem in sa Philippines, like we just allow anyone or anything to govern us without really understanding what is happening. I think it's basic. I think it's a basic human right or a basic responsibility for like the government or the governing body to make every citizen know or be able to access law and probably legal education. Yeah. Okay, so may I ask, ano ba yung current problems sa legal system ng Pilipinas? So you said nga, hindi siya accessible, especially for maybe less privileged people. So what exactly yung problems? May problema ba sa batas? Outdated ba yung mga batas or yung constitution or yung legal system? Is it hard to interpret? So ano ba yung problem and what brought Digest?
Okay, that's a great question. I think, to be honest, there's so many problems with our legal system.
Okay.
Una, sobrang mahal. Kung lalapit ka sa law firm na nakita mo, malamang ibibill ka per hour. So yung billing yan, 2,000 per hour. Okay. Imagine that. Yung minimum wage natin sa Pinas, mga 10K per month, right? Which is around 500 pesos per day.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapos ibibill sa'yo 2K per hour. Kung 8 hours of work yan.
Wala ka ng sweldo.
Wala na sweldo. Kung mga 16K na, luging-lugi ka na. Right? And that's for minimum wage earners. And even if you're not minimum wage, middle class ka, say you make 30, 40, 50K per month, wala pa din eh. Ubus ka talaga. Tapos, so one is, it's expensive, especially if you're only getting bids from one type of entity. Instead of bidding from a lot of people, you're bidding only from the one you know, right? The one who's recommended to you or the one you see. Yung law firm na nakita mo na malaking office, it's not very competitive. So if you open the market to more possible suppliers, such as legal service providers, it can be cheaper. And we also think it can be cheaper because if you start any business or any agency, malaking bagay yung overhead costs mo. The fact that you have an office, diba?
Yeah.
You pay 15, 20, 30K. Tapos may staff ka, may electricity, utilities, lahat. So, syempre yung cost na yun, pinapasa sa tao. Right?
Okay.
So, it's why we know that it can be cheaper if we push also digital lawyering. So you have more choices and the cost of delivering that service for the lawyers are also cheaper. So they can pass on some savings to you. Yeah. So we wanna solve that yung kung gaano kamahal yung lawyer. Yung second part, the problem is I touched on earlier, the accessibility. Pansin natin sa Pinas, mahilig talaga tayo sa internet. Lahat na bumibili sa Shopee, sa Lazada.
Yeah.
Kung may kaya, diba? But normally goods pa lang yung nasa available online. Normally yung services pa medyo watak-watak. If you go to mga startup, I think it's Anderson Horowitz, they say na service marketplaces are the future because goods pa na-solve na ng Amazon, ng Shopee, Lazada. For service providers, pang very different yung model eh. Kasi you're not just comparing, one lawyer is not exactly the same as the other. Normally when you go with a service provider, pang trust, kailangan may tiwala ka sa abogado na tutulong sa'yo. So that's the challenge that Digest wants to solve. How do you build trust among strangers? Ginagawa na natin actually informally sa Pinas eh. Diba sa Facebook, hanap-hanap, Google.
Informally
search, sino, diba?
Yeah.
Pero walang dedicated para sa isang profession. Nakita na natin sa medicine, may telehealth na. Diba? Pero sa mga ibang industries, pang kulang pa din. Especially for us, for lawyers.
And actually, same pala siya sa like Grab and sa Airbnb. Like, ginagawa mong peer-to-peer, but yung peer in one side is yung customer and then one side is yung service provider. So, but now Digest is just a different domain, like law services.
Agree, peer-to-peer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Direct from lawyer to client.
Okay, yeah. And maybe we know, ano ba yung other features ng Digest? Kasi, so first yun nga, you connect potential clients to lawyers and then nakita ko sa website, you also have this archive ng cases. So can you tell about lang ano ba yung mga features ng Digest and what can users, how can they benefit really from Digest?
First is the connecting lawyers with clients.
Yeah.
Okay, so pwede ka na makahanap ng abogado. 2 is, as you saw, we have the full collection of all Philippine laws and decisions. So kung gusto nyo, may bagong train law, mababasa nyo. Pwede nyo kayo mag-copy ng law. To be honest though, mas interesting yun talaga sa lawyers or sa law students. Medyo sa side ng lawyers yan. Kasi yan yung kabuhayan namin eh. So it's a tool for our side to attract also lawyers and law students. The third is, may list kami ng electronic contracts. Minsan kung nagtitipid ka talaga or kailangan mo lang ng template, may templates na naka-upload sa amin. Pero medyo electronic assisted. Kung tatanong sa'yo, ano yung name mo? JANNI BOYDON. Pag in-enter mo doon, ipapasok sa lahat ng field sa contract na kailangan yung name.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So, for us, it's a way of like attracting people and giving back. Template lang, but it works. For example, freelancers, yun yung pinapatok namin contract, the freelancer contract. Kasi normally, yan yung industry na wala talang kontrata eh, di ba? Sila yung kawawa kung yung client ayaw magbayad. So yun yung third service, yung contracts. Yung fourth, we give mga legal resource materials. So we share some articles just to help people. And of course, the benefit for the platform is it draws people to our website.
For an extra question lang so binanggit mo nga yung like some kind of automated na filling up of the template or the contract. Possibly very ideal pa, pero like ano yung extent that law service can be automated? Like we have AI nga ngayon, like ibang jobs na automate na. So sa law services ba, meron bang certain features or certain services na pwedeng ma-automate?
That's a great question kasi they say na like AI is eating the world. Like it will transform everything, the end of lawyers. To be honest though, AI, I don't think will ever replace lawyers because I've seen the use cases.
Okay.
AI can really help the lawyers do their work more efficiently. For example, when we look for laws, and actually we have a partnership with Esquelabs, an AI startup, but to help lawyers like do their job more effectively. So AI can really make legal services more efficient. From the lawyer side. So it saves time. So in that way, it could help clients because if it saves time on the lawyer, obviously we can charge lower, we can do the work faster, but you can't really have an AI that will automate the lawyer part. I know a couple have tried pang chatbot style, pero sobrang hirap. Diba? Imagine a chatbot that you train na 5 years of law, tapos pang that type of thing, pang medyo science fiction, I think, na mga 30-40 years from now, right? It will have to come to the point na pang brute force na din. Pang lawyering, kasi it's so trust-based. Gusto mo makausap tao eh. Diba? Pang, right? Diba? Ito yung problema ko. So, I think lawyering is one of those that AI can build tools to help lawyers deliver the services, but AI cannot replace the lawyer.
Okay. Ay, so far, sino ba yung users nyo and sino ba yung ini-imagine nyo na will use Digest in the long run?
Okay. Our users talaga are startups. Businesses. Medyo facing businesses. There are 2 parts to it. Siyempre, as a startup, there's the financial side eh. Businesses are the ones who really pay for legal services eh. Our initial clients are really businesses.
Okay.
And we do know the path to making this at scale is to focus on businesses because businesses are lifetime clients. Like kung may kaso ka, sana isang beses lang o 2 beses sa buhay mo. Kung tao ka lang diba? Kung may nagsampa na kaso or diba, may problema sa trabaho nyo. Pero yung businesses, from the very start to the very end, the entire business life, may legal needs yan. Kung mag-start ka ng business, kung mag-hire ka ng tao, kung makipag-partner ka sa mga third-party suppliers, kung mag-close ka ng business, lahat yan may legal. Kung magtatayo ka ng foreign corporation. So, businesses are really the ideal clients. In the sustainable side, we want to focus on that. But of course, we recognize na there's so many people that need help. Kaya actually, we offer free consultation naman, up to 3 questions. Parang hindi pwede abuso, right? Pero there's a vision I have that legal aid will be coursed through our platform. But it will never be our primary source. So we really want to focus on the SME market.
So like for sustainability of revenues, you're aiming at the startups and SMEs. And actually, they also need that kind of service. So I think it's a win-win. Yeah.
Diba?
Okay, so can we go sa motivations ng Digest? So first of all, we all know that you studied law in UP. So meron bang relation, like did you think of making Digest while you were still studying law? And maybe can you share about some of your experiences as a law student in UP? Like, ano yung nag-motivate for you to build Digest?
That's a great question, Johnny. Actually, I started Digest while we were still in law school. Okay, so the crux really came in law school. When you're a graduating law student, all of us are required to render 1-year service in our legal aid program. So 2 subjects yun, called Office of Legal Aid, OLA 1, OLA 2. So UP offers that system. So every law student UP has to go through that. And you'd be surprised, there's so many people who go to UP asking for help. And I noticed, like, this was UP already, supposedly we were the premier like university, right? What all people always say. But our model was so outdated. Like, there were so many clients who went there and that they were not accepted by UP. Okay, because normally we do not accept if you are not indigent, meaning you're not the poorest of the poor. Right? Like, if you earn above 15,000 per month, baka hindi ka qualified dito. And yung mangyayari is we'll give you a piece of paper na kung saan ka pa pwede magtanong. Diba? So, pupunta ka pang malayo, mag-interview ka, dadaan ka 1-hour process, tapos babalikan, hindi ka pa makakuha ng sagot agad-agad. Pambabalikan ka, like maybe after a month, 2 weeks to a month. Nalala ko, ang tagal. Para lang malaman mo kung tatanggapin ka ng UP. So I was like, oh, grabe, this is such a wasteful process, to be honest. Pang ito talaga yung, don't you guys see the lines and the people coming here? And like, sana ma-resolve, you could do that digitally para alam mo na kung pasok ka na, hindi, or move on agad. Hindi ka na mabiyahe, galing sobrang layo. Yung ba doon, galing malayo talaga eh. Diba? Dapat alam ng tayo yung guidelines na we won't accept cases kunwari, or we don't accept these types of cases. So, I noticed that clients would have to go through so much hoops just for a chance at having a law student represent them. So, hindi pa lawyer. May supervising lawyer kami. Pero 1 over like 10 to 15 law students. So, the one who really be assigned, and we can appear in court as law students. Pero syempre, iba din kung kausap mo na yung licensed lawyer with some experience already and who's focused in their case. Kasi as a law student, iniisip mo lang yung makagraduate, may finals ka, may studies ka, will try hard, pero hindi ka pa in that state of mind na this is my vocation where I have to help people. So that was the experience that really made me think that, okay, we should move to legal platforms because these are what's done abroad. Like in the United States, the UK, Singapore, Australia, legal technology is such a big thing. What we're trying to do now in the Philippines was done in the US 15 years ago. 2005, may ganong platforms na sila. Ngayon palang nag-attempt dito.
So actually, yung main technology na in-integrate mo since you found out that problem is first yung digital platform, digital legal platform. And second, yung decentralization kasi nga it's more of peer-to-peers. Like less of the establishment but more of like directly connecting the client and the lawyer. So I think, yeah, it's more efficient. Yeah.
Agree. Kaya we put that infrastructure and then we give them a messaging system. So even when the system is being delivered, they can interact. So they can chat, they can attach files. And when they're done, they can also pay immediately. A pain point kasi for lawyers is, syempre any service provider, normally nag-render ka ng service tapos binabayaran ka pagkatapos. And syempre minsan mahirap mangolekta bilang lawyer. Kahit yung mga monthly billings, ayaw naman magbayad agad yung client unless pang may nagawa ka recently. So pang may cash flow problems. Like sometimes we could give it cheaper basta we know na sure na makokollect at makukuha agad.
So yung payment ba is laging per hour or meron bang parang per case, ganun, per project or whatever?
Okay, that's a great question. Standard practice in the Philippines is really per hour. But us, we try to make everything fixed cost. So like, ito yung overall na babayaran mo. Like, we'll say 30K, lahat-lahat na yan. Ito yung milestones. Milestone 1, we got you registered sa SEC. Milestone 2, nakuha mo yung BIR permit mo. Milestone 3, nakuha mo yung business permit mo. 10K, 10K, 10K. So we spell it out all for the lawyer and client.
Okay. What is the best achievement of Digest so far?
That's a great question. I guess we're young. I guess.
By the way, what year nag-start ang Digest?
Okay. We started developing. Well, the idea really came in 2018. I had a super rough beta in February 2019, and then we formally incorporated March 2020. We launched commercially December 2020. That's when we started charging for our services. And yun, became break-even naman April 2021.
Nice. That's very quick.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about legal services. Malaki yung
yeah.
just get a few clients, pang solved ka na eh. Right? Kasi the transaction sizes are big. I think our biggest accomplishment would be, I guess we're the use case. We're showing to the Philippines that it's possible to bring legal services online. Na hindi lang Facebook page, but to create a platform that allows clients to find real verified lawyers, message with them, hire them, and then pay them. What I hope to accomplish over the next year is that to encourage more fixed cost type services. Like me, ayoko yung hourly kasi I believe that you should pay for the value you bring and not pay for the hours that were worked.
Can I ask lang, this is some outside questions. What do you think of having law education sa Pilipinas? Kasi sa ngayon, wala. I mean, elementary or high school, even like popular law or basic law. What do you think? Maybe GE sa college?
I agree with that. I think it should be a basic requirement that maybe high school level, there should be some orientation already about your basic rights. And then college, I'd prefer to have it actually a required subject also.
Really? Okay.
Pang medyo mas practical. Like, ito yung taxes you'd have to know. Ito yung labor rights mo as an employee. Like, something will be kind of practical to you in a few years. Kahit one course, maybe even just one unit eh. Diba? Para at least ma-familiarize sila dun. But of course, while I agree with the idea and it's very noble, I do wonder about how to operationalize it. Like, you'd have a legal teacher in high school, in every high school, in every college?
Yeah, actually, yun pala yung mahirap, no? Kasi, I mean, saan tayo kukuha ng teacher? Yeah, actually, yeah.
Diba? There are only 40,000, if I'm not mistaken, 40,000 lawyers in the entire Philippines. Do we accept, like, what level of legal education do we require before we allow the teaching, right? It's a challenge, but it's a worthwhile challenge.
Okay. Some few final questions. Kung meron lang isang batas sa Pilipinas, ano yun at bakit? Medyo Miss Universe question tayo.
Para saan naman yung 1987 Constitution?
Okay.
Doon naman manggaling lahat ng batas natin. At makita mo naman doon na hindi lang yung rights natin, pero yung responsibilities natin. And more importantly, makita natin yung role ng government na marami silang utang sa atin. Doon mo makikita hindi lang yung obligasyon mo bilang mamamayan, pero yung obligasyon ng gobyerno sa atin. Kasi, di ba, yung tawag doon, social contract. Maybe, ibibigay natin yung buwis natin, yung oras natin, yung buhay natin. Dapat may kapalit.
Yun actually yung problem, malaking problem because we are actually in a social contract. We give our taxes, but we don't know why we are giving it.
Exactly. Agree, Johnny. Medyo Republican na ako when I'm in the Philippines. I'm like, less tax. Kung wala kayo may bibigay, huwag na tayo magbayad ng buwis.
Yeah. Ang nangyari kasi parang responsibility. Pero anong napapala natin?
Oo, tama. Di ba hindi sulit yung pagbigay natin?
Yeah.
Di ba sana may nakuha tayo? Pwede.
And the problem is, hindi natin na-realize yung ganun nangyayari. Okay, so ano ang pinaka-weirdong law, batas na na-encounter mo or nakita mo ever?
Okay, ang weird at yung natutuwa sa law school, alam to lahat ng lawyers at law students, you can actually kill your wife if you find them in bed with someone else. And yung mas weird pa doon, kasi pang very old law yan So you can kill your wife just because they slept with someone else. I mean, of course, mabibigat na bagay yun, pero pang to kill them, di ba? And wala kang
of course.
penalty, like, you won't go to jail for that. Ang lala naman nun. But the thing is, the treatment there is different if you're a male and a female. If a woman cheats, it's called adultery.
Okay.
But if a man cheats, it's called concubinage. And the standard is higher for women. So long as the woman cheats, kawawa na siya if she can go to jail. But if the man cheats, doesn't mean that he can go to jail. He can only go to jail if he does it under scandalous circumstances. So it depends on how people judge that. But I guess if you do it in public. But diba, for me, it's weird na we have this treatment that the gender would really matter.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And yun pala yung question. So, I think it's outdated. And bakit hindi na-update yung mga batas?
And that's a great question. I think you've noticed how slow laws are to change in the Philippines. Very few laws are passed in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Our Congress is very slow. We're always on break. And the lawmakers have other priorities, right, than making laws. I think that there hasn't been enough emphasis in updating our nation's laws. There should have been a law already for Grab and Uber, right? If we adopted the changing times. There should have been a law already on digital transactions for Shopee and Lazada. There should have been a law already for cryptocurrency. Because you can adjust them. They're already abroad. You see movements for that. But why in the Philippines are we so slow? So that's the reason. Our lawmaking bodies are not efficient.
Okay. So I hope as a country we can fix that. I don't know how sa ngayon, pero I hope. Okay, so I think that's it. Maybe what's your final words na lang? Maybe, how do you want people to know Digest?
Okay, that's a great question. I like how my co-founder Jay puts it. We want Digest to be like your friend-in-law, someone you can rely on. At the end, many clients, they want a lawyer that's on their side. Like their friend, a friend that will look out for their best interest, right? Will treat them fairly, and will give their concerns that are forwarded to them the priority and the effort that's required.
Thank you so much, Raymond. Thank you for this very interesting conversation.
Thank you, JANNI. Okay, keep safe. Take care, man.